Hey everybody, today we are going to talk about Social Security, specifically how we can fix Social Security. If you are not familiar, Social Security is expected to run out of money within the next decade. That is a problem for 70 million Americans that rely on Social Security for their income. Before we dive in, please take a minute and check out the link you see on your screen, fool.com/mattf. I'll put it in the description as well. You can check out how you could say you might be missing out on as much as $23,000 in Social Security benefits every year. It's a message from this video's sponsor, The Motley Fool, and please stay tuned after the video for a special message on how you can maximize your Social Security benefits. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right in. I want to share my screen real quick. There we go. So first of all, just kind of a quick disclaimer. If you ask 10 people the best way to fix Social Security, you're going to get 10 different answers. There are, people on the political left have different opinions than the political right. Even within those, different ends of the political spectrum, there's different opinions on the best way to go. So, with that in mind, the Brookings Institution recently put out a pretty comprehensive and bipartisan framework that would completely fix Social Security's financial problems. I'm not saying it would be painless to do it. As you'll see when we go through this, a lot of these are going to be unpopular fixes for Americans. But if we want to totally fix Social Security, here is one way to do it. It's not the only way. So, as I mentioned, under current projections, Social Security is forecast to run out of reserves in 2034. At that point, remember, so that's just its reserves. Social Security still has money coming in from payroll taxes, and a couple of other sources. At that point, it would be able to pay 83% of scheduled benefits. So if nothing is done, worst case scenario, we are looking at across the board Social Security cuts of about 17%. So not ideal, but so when someone tells you when Social Security is going to run out of money and checks are going to stop, that is not necessarily the case. It still has some money coming in that it could use to pay some benefits. So, when it comes to fixing Social Security, there are several different types of changes that can be made. Most of them fall under the broad categories of increasing revenue, reducing benefits, and general program changes. So, there are dozens and dozens of possible tweaks you can make to Social Security within those categories, but they all generally fall in those. And politically, Republicans on the political right generally favor benefit reductions. On the political left, the Democratic Party generally favors revenue increases. That's not a set in stone rule, but generally speaking, that's what you're looking at. And according to the latest Social Security Trustees report, the estimated long term shortfall of the program is about 3.5% of taxable payroll. As you may or may not know, Social Security's payroll tax is currently 12.4% of payroll up to a certain amount per year. And that is split in half between employees and employers. So one solution, and it would work, would be to do an immediate 3.5% tax increase with half put on employees and half put on employers. That would totally fix the problem. But that is not a very popular solution on any part of the political spectrum. So we're going to need some sort of more comprehensive package. Any bipartisan solution would need to incorporate some sort of tax increases and benefit reductions, and this Brookings plan that I'm talking about definitely does. So there are some popular benefit enhancements. This might sound like we're working backwards to make Social Security better for certain individuals, that would actually make the need to increase revenue and things like that even greater. But they're very, very popular on all sides of the spectrum, and they would likely be included in a reform package as well. So Brookings has done that. So jumping right in, remember I mentioned all the benefit changes could be in three categories. So number one are plans to boost Social Security's revenue. So the Brookings plan would gradually increase the maximum taxable wages to 90% of total wages. So right now, Social Security taxes are only assessed on a certain amount of income up to a certain limit. Above that, you don't pay any Social Security taxes. And that currently covers about 80% of all wages earned in the United States. So number one would be to increase that to cover 90%, which is what was originally intended. A few decades ago, in the early 1980s, was the last time that Social Security reforms were done. And at that point, it did cover 90% of total wages. But just because of how inflation and wage growth have grown over time, it's gotten a little bit away from it. Number two would be to close loopholes, and a lot of people I know use this, that let limited partners and self-employed workers who use S corps to avoid payroll taxes. Let's say that you earn $100,000 a year as a sole proprietor. If you incorporate as an S corp, you can choose to pay yourself a salary of, say, $40,000 and pay Social Security tax on that, and call the other $60,000 a bonus or profit sharing or something like that, and avoid payroll taxes on a good part of your income. So that would close those loopholes, and it would slightly increase the payroll tax rate from 12.4% to 12.6%. Remember, that's split by employers and employees. So it would be a 0.1% payroll tax increase to your paychecks. The plan includes several ways that benefits could be reduced, and it aims to be as fair as possible with these. The first three are politically popular and probably wouldn't have a big hurdle to get through. Number one would be to gradually raise the full retirement age to 70, but only for the highest earning retirees. Everybody else, right now, the full retirement age is 67 for anyone born in 1960 or later. And it would leave that alone for most people, but it would raise it to 70 gradually for the highest earners. The idea is that the highest earners don't need Social Security as much as the rest of the population, and therefore could either wait to claim or receive a lower benefit. Number two, it would increase the number of years in the Social Security formula calculation from 35 years to 40. For most people, this wouldn't have that much of an effect, but it would, it would cut benefits for people who didn't work for, the average working lifetime is from, say, the ages of 23 through 65, so more than 40 years. But some people work less than 40 years, and it would negatively impact them. And it would make a third level of income that would make 100% of Social Security benefits included in taxable income. Under current law, for a lot of people, none of their Social Security benefits are taxable. But for higher earning retirees, people with lots of retirement income from 401ks, things like that, either 50 or 85% of Social Security income can be taxable. And this would create a third level for the highest earning retirees that would make 100% of Social Security benefits subject to tax. The next two are not likely to be very popular. Brookings included it in their plan. Number one would be to gradually phase out spousal benefits by 2037. I personally don't think that'll be very popular. This provides much needed retirement income for married couples who had one primary earner and one maybe stay-at-home parent. It gives the lower earning spouse up to 1/2 of the higher earner's benefit. So I don't really see that being very popular, but it's part of Brookings' framework. Number two is to end benefits for children of retirees. Right, under current law, if you retire and you still have children 16 years under 16 years old, they get a benefit check as well. And the incentive is it makes it easier for older people who have young children to afford to raise those children and retire. The unintended side effect is that it encourages people to retire earlier than they otherwise would, and it lowers the workforce. Fewer people pay into Social Security, so that could have benefit in a few different ways. The spousal benefits, in particular, I see as being tough to get through any type of bill. And proposed benefit improvements I mentioned. The Brookings framework would increase Social Security survivors benefits to 75% of combined benefits. Right now, if your spouse dies, you get to choose to either assume their benefit, whatever it was at the time of their death, or to keep your own. But the new rule would increase that to 75% of your combined benefits. So you wouldn't feel as much of a ding in your household income if one spouse dies. It would expand disability benefits, in particular for older workers. I think the plan calls for over 58. and it would improve benefits for children whose parents are deceased or disabled, as well as for children being cared for by their grandparents. And finally, the coverage and transfers proposed, that's what the section is called in the plan, would send all taxes collected on Social Security benefits directly back into the program. It used to be that way. Currently, some goes into the Medicare Trust Fund. Most goes back into Social Security, so this would increase Social Security's income slightly without any changes to taxes or anything, just kind of reallocating money. Number two would be to expand the legal immigration pathways, which would expand the workforce that's paying into Social Security. And number three is to bring all workers into the Social Security system. Currently, about 6% of workers, mostly in government jobs, are in so-called uncovered employment, meaning that they don't pay into Social Security tax and don't pay Social Security taxes, but have their own pensions and retirement systems. So it would bring them into the system and increase the number of workers paying in. So the effect of all of that, if we add all that together, it would add 3.58% of taxable payroll to Social Security. Remember, the deficit was 3.5%, so this would more than make up the long-term deficit, and it would make the program solvent for at least the next 75 years. So let me know what you think of this. I'm going to stop my share. I would love to hear what you think of this plan. Are you a fan of this? Do you think certain aspects of it are unfair? Love to get a discussion going about this. I'll do my best to respond to any questions or comments individually. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned right now for a message from the Motley Fool. Here's an interesting fact. Most retirees don't realize they could be missing out on almost $23,000 in extra Social Security benefits every single year. The truth is, Social Security has hidden strategies that can help you maximize your retirement income, but most people never take advantage of them. Luckily, our sponsor, The Motley Fool, has got you covered so you don't make that mistake. If you want to boost your benefits and retire with more confidence, go to fool.com/MattF right now to learn more about Motley Fool Stock Advisor.